it's interesting that this is a rather large group in North America. And maybe that's because we're very mature users of the internet, right? So they're not terribly enthusiastic. Notice on the upper right there the digital engagement. So they're not highly engaged in either of those ways. They're not terribly involved. They're not heavy users. They really kind of see the internet as a tool. It's a way of doing things. It's not about relationships. It's not about fun. It's not about communicating. They're also concerned about privacy. So and by the way, can you guess how these skew age-wise compared to everybody else? Yeah, they tend to be a little bit older, more traditional, and kind of take the internet for granted, not terribly interested in learning about the new stuff on the internet. So, I mean, there are things we can do, but it's not one of those high opportunity segments. And a lot of what we would want to do with a segment like this is try to ease them into sort of more innovative uses of the internet. So things like do things that will trigger emotional connections in some way without being too intrusive. That's sort of the balance, right? That's the tough part. It's important for them that relevance is strong, but it has to be not too personal to make them feel like we've gathered lots of information about them. So they look for things like news and sports and weather, and so those are the kinds of ways that you'll be able to reach them, but they're not going to be terribly easy to reach. By the way, one thing that I haven't focused attention on is one of the things that we asked about in the survey is the extent to which people are receptive to being approached by brands in different contexts. Not just overall, not like, how do you feel about it when you see an ad, but rather in many different contexts. So when you're surfing the web, how do you feel about brand interactions? When you're gaming, when you're downloading multimedia stuff on Facebook, when you're shopping. So in all those contexts, how do you feel about being approached to brands? And people gave us responses ranging from, I hate it, I don't like it, it's offensive to me, to, I click on the stuff. And then in between is sort of, I don't even notice it, or I notice it but I ignore it. So these functionals, sometimes they'll try to find out more when they're surfing the web for personal stuff, for education, for information, but they find it to be intrusive to be approached by brands in most of these other ways. So that's an important thing to know about them too, and it sort of makes it a bit of a challenge to approach them.